Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a very special show on the channel where we'll be discussing if the season can be turned around, have the players given up already, and what happens to Ten Hag if he loses against Brentford. But before I get into that, I want to introduce my very special guest. I'm sure you watch his brilliant channel. Saeed, how are you doing?
No, I appreciate the invite, Alice. I don't know if it's my first time. I know you've been on my channel,
Might
but
be.
no, I think it is. It's a shame because I've seen you do a lot of good content on your channel, so big up to you. And yeah, let's talk about Man United. It's gonna be an interesting topic, but no doubt we can't run away from it. As much as we want to just bury our
Yeah.
heads in the sand, we still got to talk about United. So thanks for having me on.
Big up for coming on. Now, I'm going to ask you a question now. Do you think the season's over already, or do you think it could be turned around?
It's a difficult question, because it's only October the 6th, as we speak, it's so early on the season, but it does feel like that. It does feel like the season is petering away. We're still in the Carabao Cup, we're still in the FA Cup. Obviously, we're still not starting the FA Cup yet. The Premier League, we didn't have expectation we're going to win the league. So in that aspect, top four is mathematically possible. So it feels like, what it is when you lose games, it does feel like everything doesn't mean anything because it's like expectations just go out the window because all you're doing
Mm.
is short-term thinking. You're only thinking about the next win your next game. But it feels like every time we talk about the next game, we end up losing the next game. So I feel like the season in our heads might be gone, but they can turn it around. And I feel like right now we need to go back to basics. We just need to start winning games,
100%.
start winning ugly. I mean, that Burnley game I thought was like, I didn't think it was a great performance, but I was like, you know what, it's 3 points. The next day when I woke up, I was like, you could be someone else. You could be losing that game. So I was like, okay, fair enough. But then it kind of went back into our shells and we lost to Crystal Palace. We lost to, um, you know, again, we lost to
Galatasaray.
the team in midweek, Galatasaray. So I feel like for me, it's one of them where the season does feel like it's already over. Mentally, we feel checked out. It's draining as well. Like I don't know if you feel the same, but it is
Yeah.
very, very much draining. When Man United lose, well, especially the media, the aftermath, the leaks, I don't know, things happening
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
You can't
Sancho,
escape
we've
it.
had you can't escape it, And this is the biggest club in the world. I'm only just watching Beckham documentary, and I'm like, that happened at Man United, all them things, and I'm like, go back 20 odd years, and it's now tenfold the media pressure and everything that comes around it. So yeah, it's not ideal, but we have to keep fighting. As much as it hurts, we have to keep fighting.
I'm with you on that. And things are bad when I'm actually looking forward to the international break because I don't like these international breaks. I
Oh
don't
my
like
god.
them. But I'm relieved. I think 2 weeks of no one hopefully picking up any more injuries. I just think, come, please. Especially if we lose to Brentford, I need those 2 weeks to check out. But as you said, we've still got so many games to go. We can't check out. And I'm in two minds about it because part of me is like, maybe we're going to be a bit like Liverpool last year, where they started really badly because they got loads of injuries. They're recovering from being in all four cup competitions till the very end of the season before. And then Liverpool, we saw them the second half of last season kind of turn things around. They pushed. They ended up getting fifth in the end, which would actually get you Champions League, I'm pretty sure, next season because of the new
Yeah.
format if we finish fifth. So part of me is like, well, probably it's not over. We can get top four. We could get fifth. I think we can do a Liverpool and turn it around. But the thing that worries me is the players. Have they mentally checked out already? It's like I actually trust Ten Hag can turn it around. I think when players are back from injuries, will get better. But my biggest fear is I look at the players and you saw the leaks about like their body language,
Mm.
mentality. Our Ten Hag can't criticize them. And part of me is like, have these players done what they did under Ragnick and Ollie and thought, you know what, I've given up already? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think sometimes for me, mentally, we are very, very fragile. It goes back to a couple of years now. You know what I mean? I think the last kind of team was obviously Alex Ferguson in that regard. Jose Mourinho, they started off with the strong mentality in the first season, then the second, third season petered off. Van Gaal, similar as well in that aspect, but he had younger players, so then he could a
Mm.
bit more control the personalities in the dressing room. Obviously, he had Wayne Rooney leading it and whatnot, and a few others that were experienced, but I feel like for me, when these players go and when these players drop their heads, they drop it. And I feel like there's not enough leaders in there. I think everyone gets immersed in the kind of toxicity as well. Like You know, even
Mm,
the better players this season, like they now are falling. Varane, the other on Galatasaray, you know, getting nutmegged, and then them the defense all falling apart. I feel like what it is with us, we're just in free fall at the minute. It's like a domino effect. As soon as one goes, every single domino just, you know what I mean? It's all it goes down, and I feel like with us, it's almost as if you have to always say, get the first goal, you know, because if we go 1-0 down, are we going to get back in the game? Are we going to start? We're going to win the game? We don't know. Like, it's a pack of cards. Man United are a pack of cards at the minute. You don't know what you're going to get. And I think tomorrow, I look at the game and I'm like, we should win on paper. We're at home. They've got no wins in 5. You know, we should be winning. But Manchester United, it's almost as like, yeah, Crystal Palace, you know, they were in a bit of a rut where they hadn't won in a few games, couple of draws, and then all of a sudden they come to us and it's go on and get your first win in a while. So
mm.
I don't know what you're gonna get with Man United. I really don't, and I feel like for me, yes, international break is over, but it feels like you win this game, you release for 2 weeks, and then you're back onto it. We're almost like a pressure cooker. You know, you just never know when it's gonna go off. You know?
100%. Like, I don't even know what my score prediction will be versus Brentford, because part of me is like, we are capable of winning that game 3-1, having a really good game, but we're more than
Yeah.
capable of bottling that game and it being a 3-0 loss, or we're very capable of it being like 1-0, 1-1, all of that stuff. And I think with United at the moment, it's just like as soon as we concede a goal, as
Yeah.
you said, we just capitulate. And I think for me, we can play well for 20 minutes and I can get excited. I think, oh, this is a really good start,
Yeah.
like against Brighton and Bayern. I think this is a really good start. And then it ends up being an awful game that you're absolutely right. You just don't know what way it's going to go. And again, I don't trust the players anymore. Like, as you
Yeah.
made a good point, even players like Varane have looked a little bit like they're falling down with us. It's like, I don't think it's one individual player anymore. I think it's literally like this squad as a unit, just something's not there. And I am panicking ahead of Brentford. And do you have like any positive feelings for it, or are you just like, you don't even know?
I think the main one is Hoyland. I think he's the one that I'm kind of looking at thinking, at least he's on form. At least he's getting a few goals. At least he looks like he's the one that looks
Mm,
up for it. Apart from that, I'm not gonna lie to you, even Bruno's gone down. Rashford's again
yeah.
not in form. Um, there's not many players that are in form. I don't know if we were playing FIFA right now, our players would be on red. You know, it literally every single player would be on red because it's like apart from Hoyland, because everyone else is just they're crumbling. And you know when you have 8 or 9 players that are bad, and then you got 1 or 2, they can't carry them. You can't. You simply can't. Because when you need players in defense to kind of rise up, I think that was the kind of positive feeling about last season is that we were tough to beat. Like we were conceding 1 or 2 goals maybe at home, or
Yeah.
even less than that. Or we'd be winning 1-0s. And I remember that West Ham game. We won 1-0, Rashford header. There was like, so many games where we won 1-0, 2-1. You know, and I feel like Man United were resilient at home. They found a way.
Mm,
They defended well. You know, I remember that picture with David De Gea and Lisandro jumping on it. I don't feel that this season. I don't feel that with
100%.
Onana. I feel like Onana's having a go at players. They're having a go at him. There's no stability at the back. You know, Lindelof's form non-existent this season. He had a good spell last season, but he does that to you. He gives you a bit of form, and then he gasses everyone up, and then everyone feels like he's back. When I was like, no, this is what Lindelof does. I mean,
Mm,
and then now people are saying get Maguire back in the team, but then I know when Maguire comes back in the team and then he makes a mistake, everyone's like, get him out. So we're
literally.
looking for positives. We're literally nitpicking at positives, but at the minute we just need to win. The players need
Yeah.
to win. Winning breeds confidence, whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter if it's a 1-0, 1-0. Jose Mourinho, you know, won the league in 2004, not playing the prettiest football, but they only conceded what 15 goals that season. You know, and
Mm,
they were just so dominant defensively. And I feel like you have to have the principles of a team that A, you have to at least outscore the opponent, or B, you gotta make sure you're not conceding at the back. And we're not doing
yeah.
both. So it's just at the minute, you know, Ten Hag is not figuring out both sides. Defensively, we look worse than last season. And offensively, I think I read the stats yesterday. I don't know if you've seen them stats of Man United. You know, lowest up touches in the box. We're like 17th in the league.
Damn.
Shot conversion rate very very poor. Like all our stats are just literally showing what we are right now as a team, and that is not good. You know, when you deep it. you know?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, everything, the basics. The problem is we're getting the basics wrong. We're passing
Yeah,
it away. We can't control the game. Versus Galatasaray, we're 1-0 up, we're 2-1 up. We could take control of the game, slow it down, and we're like just bouncing it around, going long.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
not defending as a team. You made up a really good point about Martinez and De Gea and the unity in the back, and how even if it wasn't always
yeah,
pretty last season, they would fight for wins and they'd find a way to get through. And I think it helped having Rashford and Bruno on form because they did contribute to about 70% of our goals. And like now they're not on form. The goals are being a bit iffy. The decision making in the final third is absolutely dreadful.
yeah.
And I think this
Dreadful.
whole club and the way we're playing is awful. And even like Wolves and Burnley that aren't good teams, you think, oh, hopefully we could beat them 2-3-0, play some nice football, but not. And it's like, you know what, though? We got the win versus Wolves, we got the win versus Burnley. And I think you made a good point about sometimes we might just have to go back to playing ugly and getting those wins, very basic, almost like Ollie ball, kind of part the bus football. And I think for me, and I don't know what you think we need to do going forward, but I think it's very much get
Mm.
control of the game, sit back, improve defensively. I think Amrabat coming into midfield would really help. I don't know how you think the problems can be solved.
I think obviously Amrabat, Reguilon's trained, but he's not available for the game against Brentford. That's a big blow as well.
Mm,
Um, I, I think Amrabat needs to get out of that left back role, but again, I
who
mean,
can play there?
you can't really at the minute. You know what I mean? It's difficult for him. Midfield, I felt Mount's been playing well, but then again, you put Mount and Bruno together. Is it balanced enough? Casemiro, is he going to be a liability in there? You know what I mean? Especially if he's left exposed there. Anthony could come back on the right and give us a little bit different dynamic, but he's not played in so many games, and we're expecting him to come back and be firing and all cylinders when he's going to be a bit
Mm,
rusty. So we are expecting a lot to happen on Saturday, and I feel like for me, it's like, is it too soon? Is it too premature to ask this? But then again, at home, it should be our bread and butter. It should be home bankers. Now, when we looked at that fixture list, we were like, okay, so we got Crystal Palace at home, then we got Crystal Palace again at home. We lost that one.
yeah,
Galatasaray, yeah, we should win that one. We lost that one. Now it's two more left. And you know what? Like, we need maximum points because when we have this situation again, because you will have this situation again where we are then 4 away from home, and that will come. So how are we going to deal with that? So you know what? I just feel like for me now, it's like we can't catch a break. The manager needs a break right now because people are questioning him. And I think for me, everyone has their own opinion. I think he has to, for me, go through this little form, go through it, and then to kind of almost come good for it. I think that's what every manager in the past, when they've struggled, they've somehow overcame it. And you know what? They've actually been better for it. I hope Ten
yeah,
Hag comes through this little patch and becomes better for it because I want him to succeed. For me, sacking a manager, yes, in hindsight, it solves a problem in immediate concern because you get better results. But I know this is a point in challenge. Every manager comes here, we get
mm,
very, very gassed, we get very, very happy. It doesn't work his way due to other reasons that we all know of the bigger problems, and that's the Glazers. So it's like a cycle, and it's a vicious cycle that we just keep falling into. So Ten Hag, I fully back him, but I know also I'm not naive to think, Alice, that results. If he doesn't get a result on Saturday, boy, I cannot imagine the pressure he will be on. For me, it has to be a
100%.
win. Even a draw would be a bad result because
Yeah.
that doesn't help his future as well. You know.
I'm with you on that. My next question was really, what happens if we lose with Ten Hag? Should he be sacked or not? And I'm with you in the point of, yeah, I don't think sacking another manager is going to solve our problems. I saw someone say sometimes it has to get worse before it gets better. And I think it might have to get worse before it gets better. We've got injuries. We've got a lot of problems off the field. And I think, we might be in that bad period. But you've got to back the manager, I think, and give him the time to maybe turn it around. We've seen Arteta; he was allowed to come eighth and fifth, whereas Ten Hag's not allowed to go from third to a bad season without a lot of pressure. And I think he's at the
Yeah.
point, and as you said perfectly, you can sack Ten Hag and you can bring a new manager in, and short term it could be better for us. But then long term, when that manager gets his B and C options, he gets thrown under the bus by the board.
Yeah.
Then the players go toxic when things start going wrong. The leaks happen, everything
Yeah.
goes wrong, dressing room divide. It's like a constant cycle. And I think maybe the way
Absolutely.
to stop the cycle is you just got to back the manager. Even if we come 8th this season, it's dreadful. Maybe you've just got to see it out and maybe send a message to the players of, we're not going to just sack a manager when things go wrong now, and you can't just turn on a manager and think he's going to get sacked. And maybe we're going to give him another transfer window because Højlund's been good. I believe Amrabat will be good. Mount's shown potential. I think there's so many things you've got to look at, but I think right now it isn't looking good for Ten Hag. The style of football, the favouritism.
No.
I think he's prone to criticism, but for me, I think I'd give him the whole season, even if things get really bad. What about you?
Yeah, I think for me, he's got to turn it around. I think ultimately, I always said, I'd look at least December time before I'd seriously be like, his position is untenable, and we need at least something this season for the end of the season to kind of turn things around, so we don't end up in a position where we can't achieve Champions League football. But I do think I'm with you. Like, even if you gave him to the end of the season, what would the new manager come in and change things? Because the players again will do the same thing that happened with Ragnick. You bring it into a manager, they'll probably be even more reckless with that manager. They'll probably even not want to train. They'll probably not want to go back to the form that they probably have some sort of feeling that they don't have to do what they've been doing. So I agree with you. I really, really do. I just don't think it solves anything. But at the same time, fans want different managers because it looks exciting. It's just exciting for fans to have new managers all the time. It's something. It's like a new toy that you get. It's okay for a little bit. When you get bored of it, you want another one, don't you? So
Yeah,
you know what it is. I want him to succeed. I really do. I just think for Man United as a
same.
whole, especially while the Glazers are here, they can't sack another manager. They were meant to get rid of themselves this year, but they haven't
I
done that.
know,
So what, they're going to be here to sack another manager? Nah, not for me. And that's why for me they can't be here to sack another manager. They need to go first. I know it's not
100%.
it's not idealistic and it's not going to probably happen, but the reality is they should go first before another manager leaves. It's simple as that. So it doesn't look well for their CV. Look at their career. How many managers have they had? Post Alex Ferguson,
Yeah,
and they've got it wrong. Just shows that Alex Ferguson was a genius, right? So
literally. No, people disrespect Sir Alex a lot, the modern day fans. Oh, Pep's so clear, Pep's so clear. And I said this, I
yeah,
think Pep Guardiola is a fantastic manager. But you know what? If we sacked Ten Hag and we appointed Pep Guardiola, do I think we'd be better? Yes. Do I think we'd win the league? Honestly, not for a long, long time with a lot of transfer
there you
windows,
go.
because everything needs to change. The culture needs to be reset. And I think the bad culture is actually influenced from those at the top, hanging the manager out to dry, not caring about the club, media leaks. The culture needs a reset. The players' mentality need a reset. But more importantly, the how we operate, the recruitment, the lack of everything. It just needs a complete change. And I did this thing and I said, the thing about Man United is rebuilding a team at Man United is going to be 10 times harder than rebuilding a Man City team, because you're going to get B, C options, D options, E options, not get core signings. Like the fact that we didn't get Kim Min-jae centre back in the summer,
I
I think
know.
it's criminal, especially now with the injuries and the fact that Martinez was playing injured, which I think Ten Hag maybe was under pressure to do because he didn't get centre back. And I think all the problems come back to the owners, in all honesty. And I think sort of to end up the show, I think, and you'll probably agree with me on this, I think it's really time that we pray that Qataris come in and do something, because you see
Yeah.
Newcastle right now, 2 years ago, relegation popping off.
Now they've got a plan, and now they've got like a positive feeling. Even though they might not have got the players that they wanted, it's still a positive environment. The structure is built to win. So yeah, listen, I just hope that day, it could be one rainy day in December. It could be one rainy day when you're just out there chilling I don't know, just relaxing, and then one day you get the news that the Glazers are ready to sell, and they're about to sell the club. One day we got to pray, eh? One day.
I know that's going to be honestly like the best day of my life. Like as long as it's not going to like Sergeant Ratcliffe for 25%, then I'll be fuming. If
Yeah,
the Glazers are
yeah,
going and we've got new owners, whether it's Qataris or someone who's going to clear the debt and build a new stadium, that's what we need. And I can't wait any longer with City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs, all looking good as well. We need it now. And I just hope that
yeah,
we wake up next week and they give us some positivity, because it feels like surely we should get some positive
yeah.
news soon. It's been so bad. But
So
I want
bad.
to
So
say,
hopefully we get it. Hopefully.
yeah, big up Saeed for coming on the show. I just wanted to
Not
say thanks for
anytime.
coming on and all of that, and just let everyone know where they can find you if they don't already.
Yeah, no, follow me on Saeed TV on YouTube. That'll be great. But nah, big up to you. Keep doing what you're doing. You're one of the best female content creators out there. So
Thanks.
honestly, keep up what you're doing, and big up to the community. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like, subscribe if you're new. Go check out Saeed's channel. See you next time, and bye.